Good morning, students. This is chapter first of Geography of class 10th. The name of the chapter is Resources and Development. So we will start this chapter with the meaning of resources. Resources is anything that satisfied our needs, technologically accessible, economically feasible, culturally acceptable. Now I'll explain it. Satisfied our need means, for example, if I'm thirsty, I'll drink water. It means water satisfied my needs, so here water is a resource. It is technologically accessible means the technology needed to use the resource must be available so that we can extract it and make proper use of it. Economically feasible means we must have enough money to extract it and use it. Culturally acceptable means it must be accepted by the people living in a society. It must not disturb or hurt anyone's sentiments, any culture surrounding home, right? So next is, student, now we will study the classification of resources. Students, this is the flow chart which shows us the different classification of resources on different basis. But one thing that you please keep it in your mind, that you have to make this type of flow charts in the exams also. Flow chart will make good presentation, right? So next we will study the classification one by one. First is resources are classified on the basis of origin. So beta, on the basis of origin, resources are biotic and abiotic. Biotic means living components like plants, animals, birds, marine life. Second, abiotic is non-living component like air, water, soil, right? So second is on the basis of exhaustibility, it is renewable and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources that can generated again, for example, solar energy, wind energy, right? And non-renewable resources take long time to regenerate. Non-renewable resources get exhausted after years, such as fossil fuels like petroleum, coal, right? So beta, third is resources on the basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership, the first is individual resources. These are resources privately owned by individuals. For example, land owned by individual or family. Or you can take the example of your house garden. Second is community owned resources. Community owned resources, these resources owned by the community. For example, you can say parks in your society, panchayat ghar, local roads, street light, right? So third is national resources. These resources are owned by government, nation, whole country. For example, national railways, parks, Taj Mahal. So but the fourth point is international resources. These resources which belongs to all the countries of the world. For example, open seas and open oceans, open sky also, right? These are owned by international institutions like UNO and other associations like SAARC, ASEAN. So students, this is international resources. Here I'll tell you about international resources. International resources are resources which belongs to the countries of the world. The utilization of these resources requires the consent of international bodies like United Nations Organization. For example, space, water, air, temperature, all these are the examples of international resources. Every country is given some rights over the oceans to a specific range. Oceanic resources beyond 200 km of exclusive economic zone is international owned resource, which is regulated by international institutions. I think students, you don't know that what is exclusive economic zone. So I'll tell you. Beta, it's an area of coastal water or sea zone over which a country has special rights regarding the use of marine resources, right? So students, here I'll give you example. See, for example, I'm giving you an example of India. For example, it's India, and as you know that here is Bay of Bengal and there is that Arabian Sea. Okay, students, India can use water of Arabian Sea for any purpose within its range, and I think you know the range. The range is 200 km, but the water beyond 200 km is international resource. So students, on the basis of status of development, there are four types of resources: potential resources, developed resources, stock resources and reserves resources. So beta, as I know that it will be difficult for you to learn the differences in these resources. That's why I'll tell you the differences in them in tabular form. So beta, first one is potential resources. Beta, to use the potential resources, technology is available. We are willing to use, but we are not able to utilize it properly. For example, solar energy and wind energy. Second is developed resources. To use the developed resources, we are having the technology. We are willing to use. We are able to utilize it. For example, petroleum, coal. How we can how we can say that we are able to utilize it, but I'll give you the example. For example, as we find the region rich in petroleum, or you can say that the region rich in minerals, so beta we trying to extract the minerals from that area through mining. Then so student, third one is stock resources. So in the stock resources, we can say that stock resources have the potential to satisfy human needs, but there is no technology to assess these. You can say this. Technology is not available here. We are willing to use, but we are not able to utilize it. For example, H2O. H2O यानी कि hydrogen and oxygen, water. But as we know that water is a compound of two gases, hydrogen and oxygen, which can be used as a rich source of energy, but we do not have the required technology to use them for this purpose, right? So beta, fourth one is reserves resources. So beta, to use the reserves resources, there is technology. Technology is available here, and we are not willing to use. Why? Because we have not planned yet. Are we able to utilize it? Of course, we are able to utilize it, but we have reserved this type of resources for future. For example, we will construct dams as per need, or we can say that river water can be used for generating hydroelectric power, right? Other example, like in USA, there is plenty of oil and gas reserves, but it imports oil and gas and has kept its own reserves for future.